What brought me into training racehorses was I started my veterinary career in 1985 when I went to the Royal Veterinary College, part of London University, to start my veterinary training. I spent the 5 years, 1985 to 1990, working there or learning there as a student. On graduation in 1990, I stayed and worked for the university for a year in a teaching role and still getting further training role, which was very interesting and stimulating working there. In '91 I then applied for a job in mixed practice in West Yorkshire and spent 3.5 years working in Keighley in West Yorkshire, and that's really where I was able to start fulfilling my lifetime ambition of being involved in horses as a youngster. And it was one day I would been doing a particularly horrible smelly job with some cows and came back into the practice and saw a job being advertised in the Veterinary Record, a weekly publication for the veterinary profession, advertising for a job as assistant trainer and veterinary surgeon for Mark Johnston. I applied for the job, but I have to say my thoughts at the time were that racing had a very sort of, you had to have a double-barreled name or have been in the army and so on, so I never thought for a second that I was going to be considered for the job, but was surprised and pleased to be shortlisted and given an interview. I'd worked for Mark for 3 years, and in my third year applied for the Alex Scott Memorial Assistant Trainer Scholarship and was lucky enough to be shortlisted and considered for it, and then indeed to be given the scholarship. So in March 1998 I went and spent a month working in Dubai. It was a great experience, learnt a great deal. Having obviously worked for one trainer, I'd developed one way of looking at training, and so it's great to go and spend some time working with particularly more sort of American style training. It was a great contrast to watch that, and then to be involved in the Dubai World Cup at the end of that month I was there. So it was a great experience and had a great deal of fun there. On returning to England, I had no job. I was around 30 odd and had to make some sort of career choice about what I was going to do. I did in fact do a locum, just a straight equine locum down in Salisbury for about 3 months, which was good fun. It was a bit of a time filler. But it was my mother who put things into perspective. She said to me, how are you going to feel in 10 years' time if you haven't had a try at training? You clearly want to. It was all the risks of financially getting it wrong and just not being a success, I guess, that was making me worry and consider about it. But she said, you've always got your veterinary profession to fall back on. So I think with that sort of advice and confidence behind me, decided to have a go. So we found some owners who were prepared to support me, which was very kind of them, and had 6 horses to start training on the track at Wolverhampton.